Hello, folks. Welcome here to the Getting the Herd live podcast from the McShin Foundation in Richmond, Virginia. I'll be your primary host today. My name is John Shinholser, a person in what I call long-term recovery from substance use disorder. For me, that means I've been clean a little over 38 years. And we're going to have a really special show today. I'm glad y'all tuning in, and it's going to be very exciting. And I got my co-host with me, Alex, who's also the award-winning host of the Getting the Herd podcast. And this is a hell of a podcast you helped put together there.
Yeah,
Alex, you want to introduce yourself real quick, and we'll move on to Lance.
Yeah, absolutely. My name's Alex. I'm a host, also host of Getting the Herd, full-time staff member at the McShin Foundation, and most importantly, a person in recovery from a substance use disorder. Sustained recovery, not long-term recovery.
Yeah. Good radio voice, man.
Just practice.
Yeah, and our guest here is Lance. You want to introduce yourself briefly, Lance?
My name is Shannon Lantz. I'm an addict, and I'm in recovery here at McShin.
And your last name is Lance?
Yes.
Man, I thought that was your first name.
No, I always question my mom. Why did you name me Shannon? That's a girl's name.
Shannon.
But
I know Shannon from West Virginia, man. He's a man.
Really?
Yeah. I know a couple Shannons over the years.
Yeah. She said it was Irish.
So for those of you that aren't really familiar with what we do here and how we do it, one thing we do really good at the McShin Foundation, we do these podcasts. And all these podcasts are recorded. Of course, we do them live at the time, but we record them and we give them, we donate these podcasts to any jail or prison in America that wants to have recovery content in their jail or prison. If they have, whether it be tablets or they got a TV they can hook up a jump drive to. So if you know any jail or prison or any provider of tablets in jails and prisons, just contact McShin and we give you this content. And currently we're in, I guess, dozens of jails and prisons. I know our viewership last quarter reached 90,000 viewers.
Wow.
And with us today, we have a viewer who not long ago was viewing our videos in the jail. Mm-hmm. And here he is at McShin. And that's what we're going to talk mostly about. Alex, you look like you're getting ready to say something.
Yeah, I just think it's fascinating. Lance came up to me one day and was like, "Hey, it's great to finally meet you." And I was like, "What? I don't understand what you're saying."
I ain't been in an airport lately.
Yeah, so he pretty much just said, like, I was watching you in jail. It's kind of the only recovery stuff that we could get. We watched all the groups, every podcast we could get our hands on, and now I wanted to say I really appreciate what you guys do, and it just kind of made my heart swell up a little bit. And I said, all right, we'll get you from an audience member to a guest on the show.
Well, let's talk about that briefly, Lance. Okay, this should just take us back to when you're watching these videos, you're sitting in jail, you're watching these videos. Walk us through that mindset.
So with the COVID, going on and stuff, there is no classroom time now like before. So you have a tablet, and on the tablets you earn points to watch movies, blah, blah, blah. Well, you have, recovery session or recovery videos on there, Getting the Herd series. You have teaching videos with Jesse and Moses and you. And just you feel like you're kind of free because to watch them videos and see people comment, like it gives you that little bit of that shot of freedom, like that you need to get through. Like it gives you a hope, like you said.
So you're in recovery?
Yes, I'm in recovery.
How long?
I have been in recovery. I've been clean since August 8, 2020, but I got here last Monday on the 18th. So
you're new to here, fresh out of jail. But
Yep.
were you in recovery before?
No, I never tried recovery before. I always viewed it as weakness, but it's really strength.
Well, let me ask you a question. A lot of times you get new people hearing this stuff, and they like to hear about experience, strength, and hope. So just briefly, what was your experience, perhaps, growing up, where you're from, and how'd you get involved? What was your childhood like? Stuff like that.
My childhood, I came. My parents divorced young. My dad kept me for a while. So I had
You grew up in New Jersey?
No,
Wisconsin?
I grew up in Rockingham County, Broadway, Virginia. And then my parents divorced. I moved to Shenandoah County, Newmarket area.
They call that the Valley or something.
Valley,
yeah, buddy.
Yep. And
meth capital of Virginia, right?
No, of course. So I grew up and, I played a lot of sports as younger. And then my parents wouldn't really, they wouldn't come to the games. So I gave up sports, and that drove me towards, started smoking weed. And I did that through my teenage years. And then in my 20s, when I was 21, my daughter was born. So I had a few years of, just dabbling still with marijuana.
But
Then
you're a normal consumer of substances.
Yeah, mainly illegal ones.
Right.
Yes. So, but
You know a woman named Tiffany?
I do. I seen what she wrote.
No, somebody just put on there. That's my husband. I love her. Blah blah blah.
Bless her heart.
Oh, Tiffany,
Is that your
welcome
wife?
to the show.
That's my wife.
How
Yeah,
sweet.
I love you, baby.
All right.
So,
Little visit there over the
Yeah,
podcast.
but a little bit different than jail visits. No timers. So, anyways, in my 20s, I was working at Purdue in Bridgewater, and my best friend, a guy that I worked with, somebody I really looked up to, he was 42 years old. He died in front of me. He had a massive aneurysm in his brain and died in front of me. And I didn't know how to process it, my age and stuff. And what long after that, I left my family. I left my wife. I moved to Stanton. I got into selling, and allegedly selling drugs and using, old school crank. And I did that for a year or two, and then it about killed me. That addicted.
Were you
myself.
working during this time?
Yeah, I was a drug dealer.
Oh.
No 401k in that thing.
Well, you ended up in the right place.
So I ended up coming, to get clean. I came back home, got back with my first wife, and then my son Josh was born. I worked a couple years, and I got into working for the Department of Corrections by filling out unemployment applications. I was like, well, don't never hire me. Dude.
So you didn't have a job. You're filling out unemployment applications. The only one that picked you up was Department of Corrections.
Ain't that wild? I was like, look, I've sold issues that day. He's like, do you have any felonies? I said, nope. They said, you're hired. I said, what? Like, are you serious?
I heard they pay well too.
Not really. I started out at $23,550 in 2004. So I started out at Augusta.
So you were a prison guard.
I was.
DOC and a gun.
All right, but let me tell you.
Plot sticking in now.
Like
drug dealer to CEO.
Stop it. So I had 1,200 inmates at Augusta. The first one I pat down has boobies, and I didn't know whether to apologize. I mean, it just culture shocked me. Being in that environment, out of 1,200 guys, I get to one. I was like, I wasn't what I was used to. So you see all aspects of life.
That shook you up.
I'd hate to think it did. Yes, it did.
Got to get high.
I got to get high. So I had like 15 years of sobriety. But I never fixed that underlying issue of addiction and why.
You say that again about sobriety?
I had 15 years while I worked in corrections field. I was clean, had some clean time. And
from everything?
Yeah, I stopped everything.
Drugs, alcohol, went to church, praise Jesus.
Yeah, I was into church.
Yeah, so for 15 years you led a normal life.
Pretty normal, yes. Yep.
Well, that's quite the little track there.
It is. And then
but you were white knuckling it because you said this is your first time actually technically in recovery.
Right.
Okay.
Right, yeah. And then I was putting up tree stands and hurt my back, and had a doctor prescribe me pain pills. I've never taken pain pills in my life.
What year was that?
That would have been in like 2011, something like that, 2012.
So you got a back injury, and
Yeah.
the doctor gives you good stuff.
So, about 2 years, I got tried the Suboxone, and then I realized I could sell Suboxone to buy pain pills, and then you start
I hear 50% of Suboxone is diverted for sales, and
mine was probably like about 85, 90%.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, then I ended up, graduating into heroin, and learning that I didn't have to wait 30 days for somebody gets a prescription. I could get that anytime. That drug shop's open
so
all
next
the
thing
time.
you know, you spiraling out of
Yeah.
control with a drug habit.
Yes. And I was deer hunting, and I got had a game warden come on me with the canine, and I had
Chris Miller?
I do.
You got fans showing up today,
Yeah.
man. He's coming.
Yeah.
Apparently he loves you, buddy.
That's my cousin. Yeah. What's up, cuz? So, anyways, I had a game warden come on me, and I had some drugs and stuff, and
a game warden?
A game warden.
A game warden
Yeah.
busted you?
Oh,
man, that's
sad?
almost
We had a dog,
embarrassing,
though.
man.
I didn't mind. Dogs bite. So, I got sentenced. In the meantime, I got sentenced to do a year at RSW jail.
So you lost your job with DOC.
Yeah, I put in. I had to resign. Yes, they don't really like using drugs and.
No.
So
you mean your first time busted? You got jail time?
I did.
Good Lord.
Yeah, they hit me with 7 charges. Two of them stuck. 2 felonies. Possession of firearm because I was deer
So you had no criminal record.
No,
You're out there. What are we deer hunting or deer hunting, doing dope, and a game warden shows up.
Yeah,
you get busted. You lose your job, your career. No offer treatment. Maybe you're an addict. Maybe recovery can help you.
Yeah,
and you got a year in jail.
Yeah. So
that must have sucked.
Yeah, it wasn't really a fun trip.
Culture shock.
Yeah. It was
But-
kind of weird being on the other side of the fence. Yeah.
I guess, man.
Yeah.
What were you thinking back then?
Well, I wasn't really thinking.
I know that, but let's say you're sitting in jail your first week or so. You got to be thinking some crazy
I was embarrassed. I really was, because everybody was like, "Man, what happened? Like, what do you mean? What happened? Addiction does not discriminate. It affects everybody."
You know, and then Alex talks about stigma a lot. You know, we're trained and brainwashed as citizens and kids not to talk about addiction when you get it. So here we are in 2021, and so many Americans are walking around with this secret of addiction, and they're just scared to talk about it. And this is why, because they're not looking at it like a healthcare condition. It's a criminal justice issue.
It
and,
is. It really
and you
is.
got jammed up.
Yeah. And, you know, just being in jail with guys that I supervised, thank God I treated them good, because I would get my behind beat every day. If not, you know, I treated people with
for
respect.
sure. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, because it's the first thing they asked me, like, you want to go in PC? I was like, no, I'm good. You know, I was respectful, and I treated people like I'd want to be treated, you know. And it was challenging, you know. It was embarrassing. It was, you know, it was a humbling experience.
So how was your year in RSW?
It was tumultuous. It really was.
I'm still using in jail?
Yeah, the first 2 times I was. This last time I wasn't. No.
So you were in and out of jail for a year.
Yeah, I did. I did a year. No, I did a year.
You did a year.
Then I had a probation violation. It did 90 days. I asked for help then. I went to my PO and asked them. They gave me 4 urine tests in 7 days and violated me. I don't know how you get
So,
clean.
you know, back in '82 when I got clean here in Richmond, we knew all these guys coming to meetings, 12-step meetings. If they were on paper, if they had a habit or they got trouble, they told their PO, I need help. And the PO would put you into treatment that day or the next day or get you into sober living. They didn't give you another felony and put you back in jail. So the stigma was actually pretty low and going low in the early 80s, but because of this ridiculous drug war, it got re-stigmatized. So now we got all these guys out there on probation, parole. They know damn good and well they can't talk to the PO back because they're going to go to jail.
Right.
And that's part of the problem in America. That's why we need the Portugal model over here. We need to flip this from a criminal justice issue to a healthcare issue.
Right.
And we get folks day in and day out. You know, we go in these jails and prisons all across America. It's the same story everywhere we go. Our drug laws are nothing more than a windfall for the criminal justice.
Right. It's the truth. It really is. You know, I got my best counseling while I was incarcerated, though. You know, I'm the counselor. Then that's how I come to know the McShin Foundation. You know, my first violation while I was there. But I wasn't there to get help. I was just worried about getting tattoos, getting fat, and getting back on the street.
Right.
You know, I used my NA book for a pillow.
Well, you
That's
get in
the
that
truth.
cycle, man. It's hard to break the cycle once you get in it. It's brain ruts.
Yeah, you got to be receptive. You got to have that willing vessel.
So you're back in RSW a second time. And then what happened then?
The second time I went is when y'all had started the drug pod, and you know, I remember, you know, you come
Were you in it?
Yeah.
So you came in.
You don't remember me?
Yeah, like it was.
I was the guy in the
yesterday.
stripes.
Yeah. You and the hundreds of other stripes I
Yeah,
see every
so-
day. But you do look a little familiar now that you talking.
Yeah.
It's
but,
the neck tattoo.
I
man.
met you, Cricket, Diane. You know, her real pretty cotton candy hair. So,
Right.
but yeah, I wasn't serious about recovery then. I was there I think I was in there like a couple weeks. Then I went to workforce work release. But this last time I got another probation violation because I didn't, you know, go to court for a driving violation, and because I was in a different state, you know, Baltimore. But I ended up, you know, when I got arrested, and I remember sitting in, you know, at Echo, which is the segregation cells, and just all I had was an AA book. I didn't have a tablet then. You know, that's right before they give us our new tablets, the Paytel tablets. But I remember that AA book and reading that, and just, man, it clicked. It made sense, you know. And I was like, wow, why didn't I read this the last time? I would have went through so much more pain and, you know, and agony. But it really made sense. I remember drawing.
Well, they say when the pupil's ready, the teacher will appear. You know,
Right.
so.
And I was ready. I was just sick and tired of being sick and tired. And you know, a friend of mine, Duck James Funkhauser, he's still at RSW, but he always said it. You know, you hit bottom when you stop digging. You know, I'm done digging. I hate shovels.
So let's talk about RSW for a minute. I remember going up there talking to Russ, the superintendent, telling him I'd like to start a drug program up here. And that staff was very ecstatic because I think they were craving some kind of program for their population. And I give them a lot of credit. You know, they went out on a ledge to let McShin up in there to do a program they knew nothing about, but they knew when they met me and Cricket, and they could see the enthusiasm in us and the hope dealing capacity that we possessed, and it didn't cost them nothing, they got real excited, man.
Yeah. You know, and I wish I would have took the opportunity to take more in the first time.
It takes what it takes.
Yeah. Then COVID hit, there was, the drug pod stopped. So that's that AA book.
Yeah, I think COVID put a crunch in everybody's momentum. So
yes, it did. It
but we reacted pretty quick. We had content ready to go.
Right.
When we found out we couldn't go in there anymore, and I saw that tablet guy. You know how the tablet thing got started? I'm in a meeting talking to the RSW board of directors.
Right.
Their quarterly meeting or whatever, it might have been a monthly meeting. So everybody that meets with the board, they sit out in the hallway in chairs, and you got all these vendors wanting to go in there and talk to the board and sell them something. Well, I'm talking to this guy, and he said, I asked him, what do you do? He said, well, we provide the tablets. I said, man, I got this idea. And then I explained to him how we had all this content. Why don't you give it to these guys so they can have an option instead of watching, gangbanging movies and hip hop about killing cops? They can have good recovery content and maybe reduce recidivism. The guy said, we got education channels and religion channels, and we're actually tracking data on this content. And we realizing that the inmates that listen to education and religion channels versus the other stuff, they have a lower recidivism rate.
Right.
And I'm thinking, well, this would be perfect for recovery content. We'll lower it even more.
Right.
And it took a lot to get them to do that, but they saw the vision and jumped on it. So that's how things happen,
It was a blessing for me. I mean, that was my hope in there,
Yeah, but think about it. I was a face and voice of recovery, and it ain't cool to be a face and voice of recovery. Right. So when people come through McShin, we teach you the value of that face and voice of recovery. Look at Alex over here. I mean, he's got a better radio, voice than a pretty face. But
I got a face for radio.
and then Todd, we rarely show Todd. He's the man behind the curtain. But the point is, they got an award-winning podcast.
Awesome.
That's how good this stuff turns out. And here you are.
Yeah.
You in jail one day, wondering what the heck went down, and you watch a video. Now you're here, being not only the voice but a face, so people watching you. And then this is going to go back to RSW and all your boys in there.
Yeah.
Because hey, that's Lance.
That's right.
Hey, you got my noodles, man.
Yeah. I felt like I wanted to get Alex's autograph and Jesse's. Yours, like, man, y'all are like superstars. I was like, man, I can't wait to be sitting in them rooms. Like, that was my hope. On January 10th, like, I'm going to be there.
Right. So your hope, your dream, your vision is coming true.
My mom passed away on December 14th of last year while I was incarcerated. And I held on to the videos and the podcast. And, that was my hope. And that helped me get through there, and it was amazing just, because I want to do better and I want to be better, and I know that she's not going to see me do that. But I know that she wasn't worried about me when she passed away. She knew I had changed, and she knew it was something different about me. And that started with y'all's videos and by, submitting and surrendering to a higher power.
That means a lot. Yeah. I think it's interesting because we talk about getting stuck in that like vicious cycle.
Mm-hmm.
Once you're in the system, it's hard to get out of it.
It is.
For sure. But now that you've broken that cycle, you're now in a positive cycle where you got out of, watch these podcasts, got out of jail, got on a podcast, and now you can speak to the people at RSW and get that next guy on the podcast. You know what I'm saying? So stuff still works in cycles. What would you have to say to anyone at RSW right now?
Well, it's just amazing being here, just the feel of love and sincerity when I come here is just
connection to recovery, man. We're your people, man. You're our people.
Yeah, it's contagious,
Yeah, recovery's contagious.
It is. It really
Make
is.
recovery the new epidemic.
I don't know what they've done to me, but yeah, but it is contagious. And the first time I went into an NA meeting, I went in with that jail mindset, I was looking for the faults in people, like, they're not, they're faking it to make it.
Focus on the differences, not the similarities.
Now I go in there and like, man, what am I going to learn today? And it's, and it's just amazing to have that hope in your life. And, I hope I never relapse into my life, but I know I have the tools to come back from a relapse and to do better and to make a difference in other people's lives. The guys that
Dan Monroy?
Dan Monroy.
McShin program at RSW changed my life for
over
16 months. Sober after Dan.
Woo. But
I'm launching, John. You launching like a Scud missile, baby. You might be picked up on NASA radar.
but just there's still guys incarcerated there. Just knowing the fact that they will get to see me on this video and see that gives them some hope.
Oh, for sure.
Like anything's
Well,
possible.
hope is the hit. That's what I try to tell everybody. Look,
Yeah.
you got to get inside. Give those guys the hope shot, guys and girls. You give them a hope shot. Then you give them a vision what their life can look like, and then you give them a pathway to follow, and you're doing exactly what we're here for.
It's an amazing.
Of course, you got to stay on the pathway now.
That's right. That's right.
You get tripped up at the smoke shack.
Yeah. I don't smoke.
Yeah, that's right. You don't.
No.
Yeah, that's good.
But just to know that the guys I was incarcerated with, there was a lot of guys that helped me. James Funkhauser Duck that I said.
It's a we thing, man.
Yeah,
It's always a we thing,
Paul Alger, another guy that really inspires me. He's got like 9 years to do, but he daily programmed, but he was in the McShin pod. Do you remember Paul?
Yeah.
And just, people like that. That's the people I hung around this time when I went in there. It used to be I go seeking out. I would walk around.
People, places, and things,
that's
baby.
Right.
And you can find recovery inside.
You can.
Absolutely.
You really can.
I keep telling people that. Look, not everybody inside got your worst or best interest.
No.
You got to find your people, man.
Yeah, and just you find the good people to surround yourself with. Iron sharpens iron, and I like Paul and Duck. James Funkhauser. They help me.
Josh says, "What's up, Shannon?" Yeah, I like
what's
that
up,
name,
Josh?
Shannon, man.
Come on, dude.
I love Shannon. That's a good name.
Really?
Yeah, it's like an
I
Irish
like
name.
It is Irish. That's what my mom told me.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't feel so bad now about it.
That's a very common name over there.
Yeah, it is.
John, Shannon, David,
Yeah.
Patrick.
Patrick.
One of the things that I'm hearing, Lance, is that like, at least for me personally, when I came in, I was kind of adverse to it because the hope shot just seemed like people with 30 years clean. Like I don't see as many similarities.
Right.
But the fact that you saw something in this podcast that made it more tangible to you, made it more accessible to you. You told me you actually saw someone specifically on this that you were in jail with.
Yeah. Dave Butts.
Okay. We
Big
love
Dave.
David.
Yeah.
He might be watching this one day.
Yeah. He was on your podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We think he's still doing good.
Well, good. Yeah, we pray for him. But there's a lot of guys, Dylan Canals, there's a couple of few that was on, and on the videos, I'm like, man, Bobby Morgan, and it's just seeing them and thinking, like that's your hope when you see people you can identify with, and that gives you like an attachment to this place, and that hope, like I'm going to be there, like my number is going to be called,
Well, McShin is the vision, the pathway. You know what I mean? It's one of them.
It is.
So that's why I keep saying it over and over and over. Hope, vision, pathway. Hope, vision, pathway.
Right.
That's how you get an addict, any addict, to stop using drugs. And you get them that ability to not only lose that obsession to use drugs, but they find a new way to live. That's the pathway, you know?
Right.
So the hope is don't use drugs. Losing the obsession, that's the vision.
Right.
And then the new way of life is the pathway, man. I mean, it's real simple stuff.
It is. Just to get through the day, just to learn to focus on today, and just to get my first keychain, just for today, like that was a step. But you focus on the day and get through that day. You got one.
So I noticed when we put this little commercial up saying we were going to have you here on Monday, right away your wife and your daughter post on it how much they love you, care about you, and they're proud of you.
Right.
And anything to say to that? Or?
My wife now, I met her while I was incarcerated. And, we are both recovering addicts and we are very supportive of each other. It's my first wife, she really didn't understand addiction. She's never been to addiction. So she really didn't know how to, address it, So it kind of created space.
So your first wife, she was in?
No, she only smoked one cigarette and been drunk one time in her life.
But she's a regular person. She met you while you were in college.
No. I met her years ago. My second wife I'm with now, Tiffany, is who I'm with. I met her while I was incarcerated doing my You're right. She's a recovering addict also.
Did you get married in recovery while you were locked up, or
no? We was on outside. So
I could hear your wife now reporting back to her family. Yeah, I met my new husband to be. He was in jail.
What was you thinking? Yeah. But
I met my wife in the psych ward at the hospital.
Was you nuts? But it's just, that's the difference between my first marriage and the second.
Right.
The first one, I was with my first wife for 25 years. We was married for 22, but I didn't know how to be a good man, a good husband. I didn't hold myself accountable. This time, this marriage, I work hard for it. I'm not worried about cheating. I'm trying to be a better person, better man. We're both recovering addicts, and we support each other. And it's amazing, to have somebody that really kind of understands me, in that aspect and knows what I'm
But
going
it
through.
also means she can read your mind too.
Don't encourage her.
Readers, man.
She is. And
my wife goes, don't say it. I know what you're thinking.
Especially ones in recovery who are also working on the same problems a lot of times.
And every night when I talk to her on the phone, we do 10-step at the house, and she'll ask, what did y'all talk about? What was,
right.
Good, bad, resentments, what you're grateful for. And we go over
family that recovers together, stays together.
And my daughter and my ex-wife are very supportive. My son, Josh, they're all very supportive. They're on board with my recovery. And it's good to have that backing, that support, it makes a huge difference. Them relationships, reestablishing relationships. Yesterday was my birthday. The guys at the house, this was awesome.
Tiffany makes it clear. Yes, I can definitely read your mind.
But, to get up and Nick, he's going through the same thing. He just lost too. And he got up and made me breakfast.
Don't bang on the table. It's messing up the mic, man.
But he made me breakfast, just that caring, man. That's amazing.
The just camaraderie in these houses are second to none, man.
Then Kevin made me a birthday cake, and then
you had a birthday
yesterday. You didn't give me nothing.
How
happy
23.
23.
No, I always take the guys out.
48.
23, huh?
48.
We do late lunches.
Late lunches.
I owe you a lunch.
We'll do a donut ride.
I'll do definitely donut ride.
All right.
I like donuts.
Yeah.
Donut man.
It's cool because at that house, it usually is exactly what you just said. People are always like, yeah, he made breakfast for the whole house, or he made breakfast for me. And it's that never happened to me. It was always something like, it felt like I then owed them something else in return.
Right.
At that house, in this program, in recovery in general, it's, one addict helping another, expecting nothing in return.
Is just incredible.
Yeah.
Man. I mean, the 10 step, every night they have a fireside meeting when it's cold out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. When I went to your brother's recovery, AA, they had an outside service at a bonfire on the inside. It was an amazing experience. So just the camaraderie, and just the caring, Kevin is our house leader or house manager or whatever. Just the love he shows us, and he kind of kicks us in the butt when we need to move motivated. But, I just look back and, my daughter posts pictures of me on her Facebook. And I remember last year at this time, all I got was happy birthday, Dad. This year, she's proud of me. She posted pictures, how proud she is. This first time I've really been clean since her wedding, It just, that difference is so important.
But that'll get better. You a grandfather?
I'm getting ready to be a grandfather.
Oh boy.
At 23.
Yeah.
At 48. But,
Hey, I'm 62 and I'm getting ready to be a grandfather for the first time. So
seriously,
that I only got but one child, and she
Late
finally
bloomer.
got pregnant. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, she's not.
Congrats to you.
Yeah, congratulations.
I don't think I didn't have a child till I think I was almost 40.
Late bloomer.
Yeah, 40, 50, something. 35, I'll say.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I was just not ready.
You had to get your mind right first.
See, I started using drugs early, so I had a lot of years to grow up once I got clean before I was mature enough to have a child.
Yeah, well, I had mine young.
You from the country, a little bit different out there.
Yeah, we have them a little bit younger. Breed a little bit earlier, however you want to say it.
So, Alex, what are you picking up on, man?
I don't know, man. I really like your story.
Well, thank you.
I think it's just a lot of passion, a lot of just genuine authenticity at the same time, too. Yeah. I feel like, if I'm being honest, we talk to a lot of people here, and there's a lot of, I really want it this time, and then they're out there a week later, and
that's why it's a day at a time, man.
Yeah,
the next day you may not be all enthusiastic. You just got to hang in there, don't give up.
Right. It's at each meeting I go to, I take something from that meeting. It's just like there's a blessing, and if you go in there, staying teachable.
Well, watch the guys around you, the ones that are. They're not making it. I guarantee you they're not chasing their recovery like they were their drugs. No. They still got one foot in the old lifestyle.
If we would put forth the effort, I mean, I was good at getting high. If I put half of that effort towards my recovery, I'll be a superstar.
That's exactly my thoughts in 1982, and here I am, 38 plus years
That's
later,
right.
still clean.
Exactly.
So, I mean, you're right about that. You nailed that. But I'll reiterate. You're in a recovery community organization, a recovery center. We have 130 beds. We have 12 recovery houses. Invariably, every single person that relapses and runs off, you can always see it coming before it happens because they're not listening to the instructions. They're not following the instructions. They're not chasing their recovery. They want to chase a person, a place, or an old thing. You know what I mean? And that's just not how it works. Alex, you're here after how long now?
I came in on October 7th, 2019.
So a little over a year.
Yep.
But I watch you. You suit up, you show up, you follow instructions, you do what's asked of you. Now you might complain sometimes.
Yeah.
have your good days and bad days, but you don't use no matter what, and you keep showing up. You got to show up and tell on your disease. And that's
one thing really hit me actually was in a group that you were doing when I was probably maybe 3 months that I'd been here. I was leading Scott House, and I had a really shitty day, essentially, like one of the worst days that I've had while I was here. And you're like, what's wrong? How are you feeling? And I was like, I don't feel good. I don't want to be here anymore. I'm just kind of like tired. They told me it was going to get better, and I don't feel better right now. And then you took out a pen and you kind of just drew like arcs up and down, but the aggregate was one upward line. And you said
direction.
There are ups and downs, sure. And maybe some of the downs feel like they're even worse, but that's because you're going in like a overall positive trajectory. And that really spoke to me. And I tell other people that all the time, because there are going to be good days and bad days, just like any other normal person has.
People have good
it
days
just
and
feels
bad
even
days.
worse to us because we're like, it's just more volatile essentially. And that's something that I really held on to. And it's, since then my bad days have gotten less bad.
We break a shoelace, we're at risk of jails, institutions, and death. Our persons don't have that problem. They break a shoelace. Oh, get another shoelace,
Just they took me to see the counselor the other day, and the counselor, everybody here, is somebody in recovery, long-term recovery. The counselor I went and talked to the other day, he was, a former recovering addict. And,
which one?
Mr. Smith up at the counseling service.
Okay.
River City?
Yeah.
Something like that?
Right.
Okay.
And just, like that automatically, because I like, knowing where somebody comes from. They know how I feel then, because they've been through that addiction. It's hard for me to listen to somebody that is just got that education part of it.
You can learn from everybody. But
No, you can.
You be around the dope fiends all day long in recovery. You ain't going to bullshit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can't bullshit a bullshitter.
Right. So Gwen, Gwen Smith, I remember when Alex first came.
I don't know.
She does. She was so kind to me. So kind.
You talking about you?
Yeah.
All right, cool. I wasn't sure she was. Alex, that's right. Alex got a little fan base up there.
He does.
No, I'm just glad for this opportunity having you here, Lance, and you giving me this opportunity. Like, I don't know. I just tried to listen to what everyone said.
Are you
suggested?
You give a newcomer an opportunity, man gets an award-winning podcast.
I know. Look at you now.
Yeah.
Well, I also wanted to ask you, Lance. So you mentioned that your wife is in recovery. Does that? How do you guys focus on your own separate recoveries? Because I know as a person in recovery, I can seek attention and get codependent real quick, and especially with someone else in recovery, they got the exact same feelings a lot of times, so it's not always easy making that separation for your own personal recovery. How have you guys done that?
Codependency is very hard. We know that.
Is that something you personally struggle with also?
Yes. I'm a fixer. I want to fix everybody else.
Sure.
I gotta fix me first. I want to be the best me for everybody else. Until I fix me, I can't be the best me for everybody else. With us, we talk about our day, what we're struggling with. Communication is very important, especially in a marriage. That's something that I didn't do the first time, so I failed at it. I don't want to go through that cycle again. So I asked her how her day was, and let her tell me about her day. Then I'll tell her, this is what I did, and just to have that working knowledge together that we got this together. I don't want, she don't need to carry me. I just need her to walk beside me, you know? And
Well, boundary is a key
Yes.
word when it
Yeah.
comes to codependency and
For
that
sure.
relationship. Boundaries, you got to have healthy boundaries.
yes, you do.
And they're hard to figure out overnight. But let me ask you a question. Let's say, you know we're going to send this video to jails and prisons all across America. A lot of guys are sitting there right now.
Mhm.
You know, they're waiting on whatever you wait on when you're sitting in their unit. Speak to those guys and girls right now.
Well, I'd first like to tell you that, you know, there is hope for this, you know, for our addictions, you know. We just have to commit to, you know, working towards our recovery daily. You know, it doesn't happen just like a miracle, you know, or you just start day to day, you know, by getting a sponsor, you know, following the steps, working the steps, and just putting in the effort that we used to put into getting high into our recovery. And like,
So how they're sitting there, their life sucks. They hate themselves. They hate their situations. What do you say to that? The person thinking that right now?
it's going to get better. There's hope, you know. Just hold on until you can get into a recovery program and just to make the most of that situation, you know. Once you get that opportunity, lash onto it and work it, you know.
Now, Alex was clean almost a year and had to go back to jail for how long?
15 days.
He had to go back and pull 15 days. So
Right.
what are you saying to those guys and girls, Alex? They're sitting in jail after being clean, and they'll probably get out eventually. I mean, what were your thoughts when you was locked up?
Honestly, I was a lot better off. I mean, it was kind of just like a major gratitude check, if I'm being honest. A lot of acceptance from my past consequences, and you know, it made me pissed off at mandatory minimum sentences, because if we go to jail, you punish people to hopefully instigate some sort of change in behavior.
Right.
If I've already changed that behavior and I'm still going back to jail, then what's the point?
Right.
It just seems sincerely punitive at that point.
Yeah, somebody needs
You're
a hand
not
in
trying to
bed.
change anything.
Right.
But when I was speaking to other people in there, I met, you know, a couple people who came through McShin and said, I really got to get it this time.
Right.
And I said, you know, I worked there.
We call that inside hope, man.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it was
Hope
kind of
feeling
like I was
inside.
like the little McShin informant on the inside that was like, "There's a way to do this. I'm a year clean. I work there. You just got to call this number or talk to me. Like, I'll make sure I got money on my phone." And you know, I don't know. People get stuck in a certain mentality when they're in jail, and it's kind of like a dividing line of I want to stay institutionalized or I can't wait to get out of here so I can live a better life. Some people tell me, I can't wait to get out of here. My girl's going to have a blunt rolled up in the car for me. I was like, I can't wait to get out of here because my girl made pot roast. Like it's just a different life. And if people aren't ready to make those sacrifices, I can't force them to be, but I can show them I'm a year clean. I'm still in jail, but at least I'm getting out in 10 days because I'm in recovery.
Right. Well, that's a good hit right there.
Yeah, that is good.
You know, people don't realize it, but I was arrested 12 times by the time I was 23 years old, 4 times in foreign countries. But that was all BC before crack. And they were doing catch and release back in those days. So fortunately, I never did any length, and I never wanted to be honest with you. I like my freedom, be honest with you.
Yeah, me too.
I like not only the freedom, but I like freedom to choose between real women and fake. You know, because I'm that kind of guy, and I like to eat junk food the type I like. And it's just the liberties you get on the outside is incredible compared to the lack of liberties you get inside, and that motivates the hell out of me.
The things you lose sight of, the simple things in life. You know, we had a class with Cricket the other day, and he took us for a walk, you know, and things we take for granted, you know, the things that addiction steals from you. This is a great thief, you know, it's a great liar. And just to have that again, you know, to have the hope and, you know, and just to be here and be a part of something, you know, and just to wake up each day thinking, man, looking forward to that day, not looking forward to being sick. You know, not had to worry about going to get my fix or anything like that. Just to think, man, this is a blessing.
And not live in fear, not have to constantly be on alert. I mean, even I know people who've done a lot more time than me. And even they say that no matter how long you're in there, you're constantly on high alert.
Yes. They are.
You know, Gwen just asked the same question I asked, but I hold my hands a little different this time when I ask it. She said, what message does Lance have for folks who are incarcerated and listening to these podcasts?
Well, I mean, let's see. The message
Hope.
I have, a message of hope. This was my hope, you know, just to see the videos and the podcast and, you know, just to feel.
Well, let me give a quick interruption here for everybody watching this video inside corrections. Right now, you have an invitation to get out and come on our podcast. Right. So
yeah,
there's your
absolutely.
hope shot right there. We'll turn that into reality for those that chase their podcast invitation like they chase their drugs.
Right.
They might end up on our podcast, but carry on.
It actually, watching the podcast and videos, you know, inspired me to write a letter for, you know, I got a scholarship here, you know, and without them podcasts and them videos, I wouldn't have.
Well,
taken
we'll give a shout out to RSW for lining up the program in SAMHSA,
exactly.
Substance Abuse Mental Health Service Administration, you know, because they funded that program up there. And in order for us to get those funds, we match it with scholarships to bring you here.
Right.
Part of the mastermind plan here. So it was a we thing. You being here with RSW, it was the recovery community here, our board of directors, our staff, SAMHSA. So you're here as a result of the village.
Yes, I am.
So the village is watching.
Yes, they are. As far as, you know, the videos and stuff, it's amazing that, you know, the difference, the way you feel, you know, to watch them videos and to feel, you know, a sense of freedom.
Inspiration, baby.
It is like, and it's a contagious, but just to have that little hope of freedom is so important, man, because COVID. How
many videos did you have access to?
I don't know. It was,
I mean, we got up now. They got at least 400 in there, don't they?
Yeah, and I just did another dump over the weekend. So, I mean, she emailed me back today and said
I saw the email
that they're doing them like monthly. So by the time we get the next month, I mean, heck, we're doing 6 of these a week.
Right.
You know, so I mean, you figure, that's a pretty healthy. I wish it were a weekly because it would be
some tablet companies can do weekly if they want.
Yeah, I mean, but this was through through Paytel.
Right.
So but I mean,
they upload them monthly or whatever.
But we reached out to other ones over the weekend as well.
Right.
So we're trying to expand this, obviously.
Well, we want these videos to go to everybody in the free world that wants nice content during COVID and not during COVID, because we know the value of that message of hope. You know,
how many do you think you watched? If you had to estimate,
it was like 3 pages of video, something like that, maybe more. I started down the line and started watching them, you know.
What was your favorite one? The good ones?
I mean, of course, yours.
Well, that's a good answer, man. That's a good answer.
Alex, you're a close second.
Alex, close serious, man. That's all right.
Alex is the best host. His energy and stuff, the way
he got energy. He motivates me, man.
He engages people. You want to watch him. You know what I mean? He's got a nice smile. You know, so it's
typically in the mornings when I wake up, I think of money I'll never make and women I'll never have. But lately, I've been thinking of Alex's podcast, man. So that was funny. You boys,
look at that! Money, women, and the podcast is up there.
Wow, you're doing big things.
It's the energy he brings.
It is. It's amazing just to see him interact with people and, you know, the sincerity that he shows. You know, that's what like captivated me. Like, you know, you'll scroll through videos and unless I'm captivated, my mind's squirrel. You know, I'm about other things. You know, but just watch him, he captivated me. You know, the way you teach captivates me. Jesse's, Moses' class.
Well, they're hope dealers, man.
Yeah, you are.
When the pupil's ready to teach your peers. I mean, there's 20 million hope dealers in America at our level, but yet we don't have access to the people needing it. That's why it's so important.
Well, there's not enough platforms for them to use their voice and stuff like this.
Yeah, it is. It really is. When I first went there, Diane was still allowed to come in, you know, Miss Diane, and I got to see her. So that was my shot of hope. And then, you know, we got new tablets and all the videos and on there, and I started watching them. I was like, man, you know, I love the way Jesse teaches too. Jesse Wasecki.
He's very respectful, man.
He's
nice
awesome
guy.
He he gave a message yesterday in the church service at Walter's meeting. It was amazing. It's powerful. It was heartfelt, you know, just to see that sincerity, you know, the way y'all teach. It gives us hope, you know, like, man, I can change. There is a way to make a difference, you know, and be better and want to be better and motivated me, you know.
The spirit, man. You touch by the spirit. The spirit hits the spirit.
It really is. But just the way this foundation is run, and just this, like at first I felt I was nervous, like new environment, don't know what to expect, but just the overall, the love.
So you could binge on those videos.
Oh man,
it's like binging, a new form of binging.
Right, I had like a couple weeks left in my hotel. He's like, "You're really serious about this recovery?" I said, "I'd hate to think I ain't."
It's too late.
That's
now.
all I got left,
Wait till I tell my wife, man, we got people binging on these McShin videos.
Yeah, look,
man.
I would pull the blanket over my head and watch videos, earplugs in, because a lot of guys, all you have is video visits, and there's guys there that doesn't get, and guys and gals, sorry, but
which ones did you quit watching? They just weren't turning you on, or did you watch them all start to finish?
I watched them all start to finish. A lot of y'all had a lot of guest speakers in a lot of the videos. I watched them too, but days where y'all have like events outside and stuff. I didn't watch them as much as I did the recovery, because I wanted a recovery. I wanted that to listen to Jesse talk, and he says something in a video about getting people's credentials, want to know where they come from to listen to them. And I think that way.
Right.
I want to know where they've been and see if they've been down in that that good dirt where I was at bottom.
That's the closest to being a part of the conversation.
Exactly.
instead of watching people have it.
Right. Exactly. And then, watching the podcast.
Were they labeled? Did the videos have a name to it, or they just?
No, it's just, would say Jesse Wasecki or Moses or John Shinholser, it would say recovery group, and you could expand that, because they're awesome. I mean, they really are. The other things they have on the tablets, not even close to as good, because you don't feel like the AA and A videos, not knocking them, but it's just like repetitive. Y'all put that feeling, that heart, and I'm like,
real reality,
man, I want that. Where do I get that at? And that was the biggest thing, and that was my hope. And going through the death of my mother, man, that's all I had to hold on to. My wife was very supportive. My daughter, my ex-wife, my son, it was all there for me. But it's still that healing process. It was just a grieving process was so tough, and I really didn't get to have closure.
So far, would you characterize things going pretty much as you hoped they'd be going, or better, worse, or
better? Man, I didn't think I could. Man, what was I thinking getting high? Man, I feel so good today. Not depressed, don't have anxiety. Don't worry about things. It just to see your smiling face.
A lot of addiction is stress related, and when you take off that drug habit, most of your stress goes away.
Yeah, I went to the doctor. I got taken to the doctor the other day, and he's like, "You need anything?" I was like, "I'm good." Like, for real, I don't need it.
He asked you if you need anything.
Well, he just asked,
give me some perks next time.
No, I'll be up on the street or something.
Cards.
Yeah, but
I have to talk to the doctor. Why are you offering these guys something if they're good, man?
Yeah, but what would frustrate me the most was just like, when people would say anything bad about, like McShin or whatever. It ain't this program. It's the people that makes mistakes. We make mistakes. You give us the tools we need to be successful.
Right.
You put them in our toolbox. We got to use them. I got to choose to take it out and use it. That's the important part. It's on me. It's not on McShin. It's amazing.
Your wife says, "You're a completely different person now, honey."
Oh, ain't you sweet?
I can't wait till I meet
miss
your
her
wife,
face.
man. I bet she
Sounds
do.
very sweet.
Have you all visited since you've been here?
No. Well, when my daughter came yesterday, she did like a video call, so I got to see her.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah.
I mean, your wife can come visit. We encourage visits.
Yeah.
When the time's right.
The right type of visits.
Right.
I kind of want to reiterate what John was asking. So, was there anything that actually surprised you since coming here specifically?
What surprised me is that you don't pound it into me. That you give me that option. You give me that hope, and what I choose to do with it's on me. It's not pounded in you like you're going to do this. You know what I mean? Like the mom and dad thing. It's like, we're going to give you these tools. We're going to love you, and what you choose to do with that gift is on you.
Yeah, we got my buddy Martin from Wyoming tuning in here. Martin, get your prisons and jails in Wyoming to get our content, man. It's free for the taking. So check with your Department of Corrections out there, and we'll give them hundreds of these Getting Heard videos. And
hundreds.
They can pipe them in on the tablets to the population.
That's right. And they make a difference.
Yeah.
When I worked in Department of Corrections, we went to evidence-based practices. And I remember thinking, man, what is this? Because it used to be lock everybody up, and they kind of went to like semi-treatment.
Right.
Treatment works, man. There's something better than jails and prisons. There's, how does that fix anything?
Well, I know one thing. Everybody providing any type of service, they do want evidence-based. And right now, the recovering community, the evidence that is percolating, emerging, and the data collecting, it is showing unequivocally over 50% of the results in the solution for substance use disorder comes from the non-government organizations that provide these recovery support services. I mean, it's just recovery is the hit, man.
Right.
And whatever it takes to get these folks to get access to recovery support services, that's the ticket right there for half of the people.
Yeah. It's amazing. I mean, just to have that on the tablet to watch, and whether you take it, plant, that seed is planted. Whether it sinks in then and makes, and blooms then, it might be years later when you're ready for recovery. I wasn't ready, I'm sure I could have got in earlier, but that's the only resentment I have. I wish I'd have came to recovery earlier, I wouldn't have went through all the pain and stuff and agony, but, it just that seed that you plant, whether it sinks in then or not, it's that thought, maybe I need to try something different. When you get sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Sure. Hey, Todd, Facebook Martin Hall's on the side after the show and give him the link to all these videos, and he'll get them in the prisons and jails in Wyoming. We hope, Martin. You got some marching orders now, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, they're coming from Dropbox, so they'll have to download them and upload them to their server locally. But I'm more than happy to get them.
Right, yeah.
But I mean, we've got a couple different batches I can send them, so I'll get that to them.
Todd's got a good radio voice, don't he?
Yeah, you do.
Lance, so what's your goal now? At least kind of like in the recovery, I don't know, work atmosphere. So you've gone into jails as a CO.
Mm-hmm.
You've gone into jails as a drug dealer.
Right.
Would you jail more of an inmate?
Would you consider going into jails as a speaker, as being that person that John's been, that Cricket's been?
And what an impact would it make to go in and have a group session? Like, when I first met him, to say, I remember being in that cell. I remember not having no hope in my life.
Well, I'm cooking
Look at me now.
I'm cooking up a little trip for you. You didn't know
what?
it, though.
You can cook?
Well, a trip.
Okay.
But we'll see how it works out.
That would be amazing. But just to give back what y'all are freely giving me. Like it's a blessing. There was time I didn't think like this is it. Like I didn't want to go no longer. I was done. But this is hope, and to give that hope to somebody
That's what
else.
I'm saying is I can just imagine it feels so much more accessible if someone's talking to me,
right?
And they were sitting in the same jumpsuit as me a month ago or something like that.
It's huge.
Let me just share something with you guys. And I'll use Wyoming as an example. Right before COVID hit, that was one of my last states I went to speak in the prison, give them the hope shot. Same one you got, Lance, when I went up there and Cricket gives. We're in the middle of nowhere in Wyoming. I can't even, it was a one stoplight town, but I remember speaking to those inmates and they were stunned that a guy come all the way from Virginia in the middle of nowhere to share your strength and hope.
Right.
And they were amazed. And I thought to myself, good Lord, I wish I had the funding to ship them a hope dealer every week, a weekly meeting of a hope dealer.
Right.
And the value of hope dealer for the people giving it. I mean, I'm telling you, man, this stuff gets better, man.
Right.
I mean, you can't buy the feelings you get from carrying that message of hope.
Sure.
Man.
Yeah. It's amazing. I mean, it's contagious. You want to you just want more and more and more, It's just
I tell everybody that the drug high ain't but so high. You're not gonna get but so high, but better and better. Time goes by, that recovery high is off the chart. Good.
That drug high. I mean, I remember the first time I used some drugs. Man, I looked for that unicorn never found that unicorn again.
Right.
You never catch that same high, but this high just gets better day to day. The relationships reestablish and you get a connection with people and just building a network and a good foundation, man, and just hang out with people. I went and watched the football games with another house last night and just, not have to use to enjoy things. It's just an amazing feeling. Matt took us out and took us down to the James River, down on the river, the walkway across,
Well, that was cool.
It was amazing.
Yeah,
awesome.
I've never been there. That's nice.
But just just to enjoy life, not needing anything to fill that, it's filled today, I used to take a round peg and try to fill a square hole. It don't work.
Yeah.
This is the right peg. This is what's working for me. Makes me feel good about myself, to love myself,
Right.
it's important. It's
Hey,
amazing.
Martin, work it out, and we'll send Lance to speak to them guys, man. I know you'll pave the road, man.
I'll do my best. I'll
There
do
you
my
go.
best.
We cross country get drugs. I cross country carry that message of hope.
Oh yeah, I like it out west. I've been into Mexico, so it'll be a good trip.
Good for you,
Yes.
Alex. What's cooking, buddy?
I'm just grateful, man. Just hearing you talk about being present and find that solution. I always kind of thought that I would cross this bridge when I come to it, because I know I was an addict since I was like 18.
Right.
And I went to jail and I finally got this opportunity, and it took a while, but once I grabbed a hold of it, I've decided not to let go.
Right.
And I just have so much more gratitude throughout the day.
Right.
Just be sitting on a couch in my apartment with my job, the bills that I pay, get to see my son.
Right.
It's just a beautiful life I have, and it wouldn't have happened without recovery in this place.
Well, let me ask both y'all a question. I got introduced to recovery in 1982, and it stuck.
Mm-hmm.
So far, knock on wood. I know I got a relapse in me, but I ain't trying to go there. You guys, you had a little pattern going there. You had to do it one more time or whatever.
Right.
What do you say to the guys listening, or the girls listening? Look, you don't have to go down no more. This can be your time to get off that escalator of death and despair.
Yeah, I mean, I remember in my AA book reading it, and I wrote in the back of it, on August 22nd, 2020, I wrote, I draw a line in the sand. I choose not to go back to that old life anymore. Once you choose to live differently, you might stumble and fall. Everybody has a relapse in them, but you put the effort into your recovery that you put into getting high, and it's possible. All things are possible. You just got to seek it out and want it for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You got to love yourself enough to give it to yourself.
Now, I got to say, I did not want recovery, man. I'm telling you, I was in the Marine Corps. I had 16 months left on my 4-year enlistment. I just didn't want to end up in the brig or get a bad kind of discharge. So I just hung in there. But I'll tell you, I did what they said. I went to the meetings and I listened to people. And that's where I think I got my hope shot. It was like a long, drawn out intervention, so to speak.
The biggest thing I see with the meetings and stuff, attending them is the diversity. You got people, college graduates and stuff. Addiction does not discriminate.
Well, that's true.
And that's what I love about it. Like, it's just, you get that hope shot, like you just, when we think of addicts, we just think of like homeless persons or living on the streets, but it's diverse.
I don't think
everybody.
I don't think I wanted recovery until I realized the recovery high was better than the drug hit high.
It's a lot better.
And I guess maybe sitting in jail, you figured that out. Yeah. Alex, somewhere along the line, figured that out.
I found more out about myself. I didn't wake up feeling miserable. I didn't wake up wondering who I was or why I was here. I feel like recovery instilled like a sense of purpose in me, honestly.
You know how happy I was to have my own pillow? I mean, for real, just the simple things, and like the things we take for granted, to have privacy in a bathroom. I mean, like that hope, that's just
health
small
insurance,
things.
a bank account, a job that I've had for more than 6 months.
Right.
Martin, we got 12 recovery houses. I'm sure I can find a bed in one of those houses for you. So.
Yeah, I got a spare bed in my room. Come on out here, Martin.
You find a way at it. But look, you gotta get a round trip ticket though, just in case we don't like you. We gotta be able to send you back, man. So we got space for you. Come on out, visit McShin, see what we're all about. Take that spirit back to Wyoming, and we'll have a McShin West Coast branch.
West Coast, East Coast.
Yeah, right.
Not road rap rivalry, though.
So, Alex, we're winding down here. Any closing thoughts?
I'm just happy to be here. I came in thinking I was gonna do the camera, and Todd was like, "We're all right," and then you were like, "Come sit down and be a part of this." And that's kind of
part of the show.
I mean, that's just like that's kind of what you do, John. Is just very simply sit down and have some of this. Yeah. And once people do, it's hard to put down. You know what I'm saying? So like, I don't know. It's just the more I am a part of this, the more I feel a part of this and know that it's a part of me at the same time.
Well, it's definitely a weird thing. Lance, I'm gonna give you last words, buddy. You better say you love your wife and kids because they listening.
I love you, my wife, my kids, Tiffany, Josh, Caitlin, Charlene. Thank y'all for all your support. Y'all are amazing. I just love y'all, and I can't wait to see y'all.
Last word to the guys and girls locked up watching this.
These hope dealers here are amazing. Just there is, recovery, and there is hope. Just watch them videos, reach out, get involved. Make that first step. There is hope and there is change in life.
All right, gang. Another podcast down. We thank everybody for watching and tuning in. And until later, more will be revealed. Thank you, Todd.
Thanks, Todd.
Here at McShin, we believe in the McShin way, which is authentic recovery support service providers, people with lived experience, bringing that experience to those who need that lived experience in recovery.
Here at McShin, we believe in many things to support our mission. We believe in women empowerment.
What I love most about what we believe here at McShin is we believe in the authenticity of the peer-to-peer approach.
Here at the McShin Foundation, we believe in giving people opportunity.
Here at McShin, we believe in the inherent worth and dignity of every person.
At the McShin Foundation, we believe in helping people reach their full potential.
Here at the McShin Foundation, we believe in multiple pathways to recovery.
Here at McShin, we believe in placing principles before personalities to help spread hope.
Here at McShin, we believe that recovery is possible and that any person seeking recovery can become a more acceptable, responsible, and productive member of society.
Here at the McShin Foundation, we believe in self-discovery.
Here at McShin, we believe in saving lives and offering second chances.
Here at McShin, we believe you can do this.
Here at the McShin Foundation, we believe that we can only keep what we have by giving away, which is why we continue to help others like us seek and find recovery.
We'll get this soon.